Have you ever offered someone advice from the heart and watched them completely ignore it? Maybe it was your adult child, your grandchild, a friend, or even your spouse. You meant well, you just wanted to help. But instead of gratitude, what you got was silence, a polite nod, or even irritation. You walk away wondering, what did I do wrong? Why don't they listen? If that sounds familiar, you're in the right place, because today we're talking about something powerful, something that can transform your relationships at any age. Never give advice unless they ask. It might sound simple, even obvious, but understanding why it works and how to practice it in real life can completely change how your loved ones respond to you, especially your adult children and younger family members. Hello there, I'm Solon Voss. I've spent years working with older adults, families, and caregivers, helping them strengthen communication and rebuild connection where it's been strained. I've sat with parents who love their kids but feel shut out, with grandparents who ache to be closer to their grandchildren, and with friends who want to help but somehow make things worse by trying too hard. The truth is, experience alone doesn't guarantee connection. It's how we share that experience, when, how, and why that determines whether others listen or tune us out. So today, we're going to slow down, reflect, and rediscover the gentle art of offering wisdom only when it's invited, the quiet secret to better relationships. Let me tell you about George. George is 74 years old, a retired mechanic who can fix anything. He's the kind of man people used to call when their car wouldn't start or when the washing machine made a strange noise. His hands are strong and weathered, but his heart is soft. His daughter Emily is 40, raising 2 children on her own. She's doing her best, juggling work, bills, school pickups, and bedtime routines. Every time she visits, George notices something. Maybe she's overworking herself. Maybe the kids are arguing. Maybe she's behind on a bill. And George, being who he is, wants to help. "Em, you should start writing things down," he'd say. Or, "If you just plan your meals on Sunday, you wouldn't be so stressed." He means well, but Emily sighs, looks away, and says quietly, "Dad, please, I'm fine." One day, after another visit that ended in tension, Emily calls and says, "Dad, I love you, but I don't need you to fix everything." Those words hit George like a wrench to the chest. He realized that what felt like love to him, trying to help, felt like control to her. So the next time Emily came by, George tried something new. He listened. When she vented about her week, he nodded, said, "That sounds hard," and stayed quiet. A few minutes later, she said something he hadn't heard in years. "Dad, what do you think I should do?" That simple question brought tears to his eyes. For the first time in a long time, Emily wanted his advice. And that changed everything. Let's unpack George's story with a simple storytelling framework. Situation, desire, conflict, change, result. Situation. George is a loving father. He wants to help his daughter handle life more easily. Desire. He wants her to be happy, safe, and less stressed. Conflict. Every time he offers advice, she shuts down. His words, meant as love, come across as judgment. Change. George learns to pause, to listen first, and to wait until Emily asks for help. Result? Their relationship softens. She opens up. They start talking again. That's the heart of today's message. When we give advice without being asked, it can sound, even unintentionally, like, "You don't know what you're doing." But when advice is invited, it communicates, "I respect you. I trust your ability to decide." And that shift from control to respect is what builds lasting closeness. Now let's dive deeper into the science and psychology behind this. So why does unsolicited advice, even the kindest, most well-intentioned kind, often backfire? Psychologists have studied this for decades. One major concept is called autonomy, the human need to feel in control of our own lives. It's part of something called self-determination theory, developed by psychologists Edward Deci and Ryan Ryan at the University of Rochester. According to their research, every human being, young or old, has three fundamental psychological needs: autonomy, to feel we have choice; competence, to feel capable; relatedness, to feel connected to others. When we give advice that isn't asked for, even lovingly, it threatens those first two needs, autonomy and competence. It can make the other person feel small or incapable. That's why they may resist, argue, or tune out, even if your suggestion is perfectly reasonable. A study published in the Journal of Social and Personal Relationships found that unsolicited advice often leads to defensiveness, especially in parent-adult-child relationships. The researchers discovered that the more parents gave advice without being asked, the more distant their children felt. And here's something interesting. That reaction doesn't depend on age. Even adults in their 40s or 50s still want to feel independent, just like we did when we were younger. Now, neuroscience helps explain this too. When someone feels controlled or judged, the brain's threat system activates, specifically the amygdala. It releases stress hormones like cortisol, preparing the body for conflict. That's why a simple piece of advice can feel to the receiver like an attack, even when it's not. But when advice is asked for, a different part of the brain lights up, the prefrontal cortex, which handles reasoning, learning, and decision-making. That's when people are truly open to listening and changing. So the lesson is clear. The brain listens better when the heart feels safe. Unsolicited advice often sends the subtle message, "I don't trust your judgment." Waiting until someone asks sends a different message, "I respect your journey." And that shift from control to respect is what builds lasting closeness. Now let's pause here. Think for a moment about your own life. Who do you love the most but find hardest to reach? Maybe it's your grown children who seem too busy to listen. Maybe it's a friend going through a hard time who won't take your suggestions. Maybe it's your spouse, and every time you try to help, it starts a small argument. Now imagine what would happen if just once you said less and listened more. That single act can change the entire tone of a conversation. Here's how you can put this principle into practice, gently, realistically, and in a way that strengthens your relationships. Step 1. Notice the impulse. When someone you care about starts sharing a problem, your natural instinct is to help. You've lived through so much. You know how to solve it. But before you speak, pause. Ask yourself, did they ask for my advice, or do they just need to be heard? That simple question can prevent unnecessary friction. You might even smile silently, take a breath, and remind yourself they're not asking for a solution, they're asking for understanding. Step 2. Shift from teaching to listening. Instead of offering a fix, offer empathy. Try saying, "I can see why you're frustrated. You've been dealing with a lot lately." Or, "I can see why you feel so way." Those short, simple phrases tell the other person, "I'm on your side." People often find their own answers once they feel heard. Sometimes the best advice is no advice at all, just presence. Step 3. Ask permission before advising. If you really feel your perspective could help, simply ask first. A few gentle phrases make all the difference. Would you like my thoughts on that? Do you want me to just listen, or would advice help right now? Or I've been through something similar. Would it help to hear what worked for me? This gives them ownership of the conversation. They decide whether they want your wisdom, and when they say yes, they'll actually listen.
Step 4. Lead by example, not instruction. Sometimes people resist advice because they don't want to feel taught. So instead of saying you should, try, here's what's helped me. Example. When I was juggling work and family, I started setting aside quiet time before bed. It really helped me unwind. It might be worth trying if it feels right to you. That last phrase, if it feels right to you, communicates respect and humility. Step 5. Practice patience. This one can be hard, especially when you see someone you love making mistakes you've already made. But remember, pain is a teacher too. People often have to learn through experience, not advice. You can't walk their path for them, but you can walk beside them. And sometimes, weeks or months later, they'll come back and say, "You know that thing you mentioned before? Tell me more about it." That's your moment. Let's look at a few real-life examples that show how this works in practice. Example 1. The marriage conversation. Linda, age 68, loves her daughter-in-law, but she notices tension in her son's marriage. Her instinct is to tell him, "You need to spend more time at home, stop working so late." But she bites her tongue. Instead, she asks, "How are things between you two lately?" and listens quietly. 2 weeks later, her son opens up. "Mom, I think you are right. I need to make more time for family." By waiting, Linda's advice landed naturally because her son chose to hear it. Example 2. The health habit. Frank, age 70, keeps telling his brother to quit smoking. "You're going to ruin your lungs," he says. His brother just shrugs. But when Frank switches to a new approach, walking with him every morning and not mentioning smoking at all, something changes. After a few weeks, his brother says, "You seem to be breathing better lately. How'd you do it?" Frank smiles and says, "Just walking and cutting back a bit. Want to join me?" That's how influence really works, quietly, by example. Example 3. The grandparent moment. A grandmother sees her teenage granddaughter glued to her phone during dinner. Her first impulse is to scold. "In my day, we actually talked." But she stops herself. Instead, she asks, "What's so interesting on your phone tonight?" That question opens the door. The granddaughter shows her a funny video, and soon they're laughing together. Connection first, advice later. You see, when we stop trying to fix, we start to connect. And connection is the soil where respect, trust, and love grow. Let's ground this further in what research tells us. In 2019, a study from the University of Michigan analyzed hundreds of parent-adult-child relationships. They found that unsolicited advice was among the top triggers for conflict, alongside criticism and unsolicited help. Another study from the Journal of Family Communication discovered that when parents paused and asked before giving advice, their adult children reported feeling more respected and emotionally closer. The takeaway? Being right doesn't strengthen relationships. Being respectful does. There's also a beautiful parallel here with how effective therapists communicate. Good counselors rarely jump straight to solutions. They listen, reflect, and wait for the client to ask, "What do you think?" That's when change begins, because it's a partnership, not a lecture. And this applies to everyday life too. Whether you're offering advice about money, relationships, health, or technology, the principle is the same. Don't pour wisdom into a closed cup. Wait until they tilt the cup toward you. I know it's not easy. When you've lived 7, 8, or 9 decades, you've seen so much. You've learned hard lessons. You've made mistakes and survived them. You want to spare others the pain you went through. That comes from love, pure love. But here's the hard truth. Love doesn't always mean saving people from mistakes. Sometimes love means giving them the freedom to make those mistakes safely, knowing you'll be there to catch them if they fall. There's a beautiful Japanese saying, "Wisdom is like water. It takes the shape of the vessel that receives it." Your wisdom will flow naturally when someone's heart is ready to receive it. Until then, patience is the highest form of wisdom. So instead of saying you should, try saying, "I trust you'll find your way, and I'm here when you need me." That phrase alone can melt walls and open doors. Let's bring this home. As we grow older, we often feel the urge to guide, to share, to correct, to protect. But real wisdom isn't about how much we say, it's about how much we understand. George learned that lesson. When he stopped trying to fix his daughter's life, she started coming to him again, not because she had to, but because she wanted to. That's the power of waiting until you're asked. It's not silence out of weakness, it's silence out of strength. It's saying, "I love you enough to trust your journey." And when that day comes, when someone you love turns to you and says, "What do you think?" your words will carry a kind of weight they never had before, because they'll be spoken into open hands, not clenched fists. So here's your gentle challenge. This week, when someone shares a problem, listen fully. Resist the urge to fix it. Just be there, kind, calm, and open. Let your presence be your wisdom. And when the moment comes, when they finally ask, speak with kindness, not authority. Offer guidance, not control. Because in the end, the greatest advice we can ever give is to wait until it's wanted. If this message spoke to you, please like this video. It helps others discover these lessons of gentle wisdom. Share it with someone you care about, maybe a friend, a child, or a fellow grandparent who struggles with this too. And subscribe to our channel for more heart-centered insights on aging wisely, loving deeply, and living with grace. You've earned your wisdom. Now share it softly, because sometimes the quietest words are the ones that change everything.